Finally, the international break is over and we have the Premier League back in town and some really interesting matches. I was giving my predictions, what I'm looking at, and I think it'll be fun to watch some of these games. Nottingham Forest v Chelsea. Normally in this type of game, Chelsea are going to be really far too short, but I'm really pleasantly surprised to see them at evens. And Nottingham Forest are not playing that well. They're at fourth, fifth from bottom, and the way they've been playing hasn't really inspired me much. And I think Chelsea are not playing too badly. And we're getting to a stage in the market where I think Chelsea might even be good value here, actually. They've got, obviously, it goes without saying, with all the money they've spent, they've got a better team on paper. But what I quite like is, individually, I think they're starting to gel better. And I think we can go and win this one, actually. I'm actually thinking we're getting even price for the much better team. And it's a really square play, but I think Chelsea are going to win this one. So yeah, let's go Chelsea. If I was going to go for correct score, probably 2-1 Chelsea. I think both teams will score. I'm not really too keen on goal scoring markets for this one because you don't really know Chelsea's team till it gets closer. And they've got so much different options. So I'd go for goals. Maybe Chelsea to win just seems like an obvious one here. And to win 2-1 would be my prediction. I just don't see Nottingham Forest being too much of a problem for them. Man City v Everton. This could be interesting. Everton played okay, but they're missing players like Grealish, and I don't think they're quite there. Man City, a bit inconsistent. Are they really worth 4.11 in the market? Not really, because you can see a situation where all you need, if you bet on the money line, for example, Man City, you're getting basically nothing. You're getting barely anything if they win, and if something crazy happens, a red card, whatever, you're screwed. That said, what I'd do is try and find an even money sort of way to play it and just stick with it. So something like minus 1.5 on the Asian handicap, I think it's 2.1 odds. That looks reasonable. Or maybe Man City to win to 0, just because David Moyes is going to play very conservatively here. He's going to play for keeping it low scoring, and that way maybe winning to 0 is the way to go. No, I'm going to go Man City on the handicap minus 1.5 goals. I think it's about evens. Actually, no, slightly better than evens, 2.1, and I think it's a pretty good chance of happening. To be fair, Brighton v Newcastle. So this is an interesting one, actually. I'd say this is the trickiest one to predict. They're very close to the table. You're talking like 11th v 13th, whatever it is, and Brighton good going forward. They're just an all-round very undervalued team, I think. They have the big stars that some of the top teams do, but they're very good, and I think they can cause Newcastle problems here, actually. Newcastle much better when they're at home. They're away here, so the way I'd go for it would be goals, actually. I think both teams to score. You're getting 1.7 type thing. Regardless of where you think the result's going to be, 2-1 either way, or 1-1 or whatever it is, I think both teams to score is the most likely here. I don't see a situation where it's like 0-0 or 1-0. I think both teams are going to get chances, I think. And the new striker at Newcastle, the really tall German, he's scoring every game. I can see him getting another one. But likewise, Brighton, they've got so much talent going forward as well. And at home, I'd say both teams to score. If I was going for a really outside shout here, this really looks quite nice value. Probably won't do it, but a draw here might be good. Because I could easily see this be a 1-0. Easily see it 1-0, 2-0, that sort of thing. Easily. Now let's v Bournemouth. Wow, 4th v 6th. Who would have thought that at the start of the season? This is a tough one. Judging by how these two teams have played this season, you're thinking goals and all this, but if you actually look between when these two teams traditionally play, it's really low scoring. And so I'm looking at the even monies for under 2.5 goals, and I'm thinking this could easily be a 1-1 type thing, couldn't it? Do I like it as a bet? I don't know. I'm not sure, to be honest. This is probably the game I'm the least interested in from. I just think it'd go either way. I think a 1-1 would be my, if I had a gun to your head, prediction. I think something like under 2.5 goals is appealing. Maybe 1. So Burnley v Leeds. Two teams near the bottom of the table. Leeds higher in the table. Maybe they fancy their chances away from home, but Burnley at home, that's where they get all their points. But that's the relegation zone. So this makes me think that with both teams maybe thinking they can push for more than normal, let's go both. I think both teams might score this. I mean, Surprised with a lot of games are 1-all this 1-all because no, I think a lot of these teams that are playing this weekend are quite well matched. I think 1-all might be a popular scoreline. I think that could happen here, so I'll go both teams to score. I know neither of these teams have really set the world on fire with their goals, but I think this game is sort of like when a team thinks they can get something, it changes their mentality. I don't think they're going to be defending. I think they're both the sides are going to be pushing. Because this could be a big 3 points for either team, and maybe they'll cancel themselves out. So yeah, both teams score for that one for me. Sunderland v Wolves. Did you know Wolves are bottom of the table, and doing pretty well. Sunderland are actually in 9th, so doing pretty well there, and they've also got home advantage. So that's kind of crazy. And you're getting a reasonable price for Sunderland to win, but needs kind of Wolves. Wolves can't afford to keep losing. They could get relegated this season if they keep losing, especially to Sunderland. You know, Wolves have lost 5 of their last 7 in the Premier League, and away from home against Sunderland, you know, they'll be screaming. They're going to be wanting goals. They're going to be wanting to get a win. And again, I think both teams to score might be a good one here because you know, 1-all again. I think we'll quietly think they can get a victory here. They'll need to. They've had an international break to get a bit of little fun and hopefully plug some of their gaps. But they're still got some good players, so I think they'll cancel each other out at Sunderland. Yeah, Arsenal, Fulham. So we're away to Fulham, by the way. Yeah, the game that I'm actually going to definitely be watching because this screams goals. I think Arsenal are going to be too strong for Fulham. But I've seen them this season have had some really interesting games, and we've seen them, you know, teams as well. And you know, for them, but I think that could actually oddly help Arsenal because you know they're very good counter-attacking players. You know, if try and get any ideas of pushing, that'll help Arsenal. But from what we've seen of the way Fulham set up against stronger teams, they will play defensive-minded. So. I just think Arsenal are going to score in the first half, and then Fulham are going to have to press. They're going to have to push, and that's going to open it up. I see this being like 3-1 Arsenal. I want Eze play for Arsenal. I think he's great value to get a score or assist. I think he's definitely going to do. Just Arsenal, a bit like Chelsea, you've got to wait for the team sheets because there's 1,000,001 different rotations they try. You know, maybe X, maybe even Y. Yeah, Eze is the guy for me. I think for Arsenal, I think them getting him at the start of the season is going to push them to maybe win the title. Actually, I think he's that good. And he really, if Arsenal don't get any injuries, I think Arsenal are going to push for the title. It's going to be between and yeah. So I think Arsenal and both teams to score. It's a really nice little bet. You can get really nice odds on that. Yeah, Arsenal will be too strong. Tottenham Villa. Both sides have been very inconsistent. Aston Villa started terribly, but they've started to pick up a tiny bit. I'd say, again, goals kind of appeal to me here. I mean, it's had a really strange start of the season. I can't see a player like him playing him and Rodgers. So Rodgers obviously played really well in the international break. But Aston Villa, him and Watkins for Villa have been really bad. I don't expect that to continue. I think they're going to pick up. And Tottenham, they've been much less aggressive this season. They've been less open at the back, less good going forward. But I think this game specifically, goals. I think there's going to be goals in this one. Both teams to score. And if I had to say, I think Tottenham and both teams to score would be my appealing one. But I'd say it goes goals. Go over 2.5 goals here, or both teams to score. Be my prediction for that one. And for the annihilation of the weekend, probably Liverpool versus United. I don't see Liverpool having any issues here against United. I'm sorry to United fans. Every time they have a game where they don't lose, everyone gets excited, and then the next game they lose like 3 or 4. We see them lose to teams like there's so many games. How many false dawns can we have for Manchester United to back them away to like Liverpool? I mean, I might say, sometimes they get up for the big games and all this, but I just don't see it. Liverpool need this. Liverpool lost the last game. Liverpool have too much quality, and this could get a bit ugly Something like 3-1 or 4-1 to Liverpool. I'd take Liverpool on the handicap rather than go for goals, maybe. Although look at the prices. Maybe Liverpool and both teams to score would be a nice one to do. I think Liverpool, any back Liverpool in this game I'd go for, basically. I just don't see. We've seen already this season, Man United, when they go away to home to a lot of teams, are just caved in, basically. Cody Gakpo could have a really good game. He's an okay fixture as well. And yeah, I think with all the bonus of defence to mark the other big players like Salah, in a game like this, he's the sort of player that can pop up and just show his quality. He fell for Holland in the international break, and I think he's going to be a difference maker in this game as well. So, yeah, I think it's quite an easy game for them, to be fair. West Ham v Brentford. West Ham, really difficult to call. You can almost encapsulate how hard West Ham are to predict by just looking at a player like Jared Bowen. 1 minute he's from 30 yards out, the next he's having 3 or 4 weeks doing nothing. When beat and lose to anyone, it's kind of what they do. Here they're playing Brentford, so we're at home. Really interesting game. It's 19th v 16th, but these are two teams that we've seen they can play much better. I think West Ham, though, they can't be this bad forever. There's a reason West Ham relegated the last few seasons. They tend to just, and then as soon as you start thinking to yourself, oh, West Ham could be in a relegation form here, they go and they win 2 or 3 in a row, and then you start going, oh wow, West Ham, they're actually pretty good actually. Bowen scoring goals for fun, etc., etc. And then suddenly they go and lose another 3 in a row. It's kind of what they do. They're one of those teams. I'll back them to go in here. Actually, I think they're getting to the stage where they're worth backing even at home. Need the win. Bowen, other players, I think he's going to show up this game. They're going to win.